local station. News 4 Jax starts now.
Michael Dunn will never again walk free. And before he was sentenced, for the first time, he expressed regret, telling the court he is sorry for the Davis family's loss.
I didn't see any remorse. I didn't see any humility.
And for the first time, the young man who was driving the Durango with 3 of his friends riding with him at a gas station in November 2012 tells News 4 Jax he tried to get them all away from the gunfire.
I just did the best I could to try and save all of our lives. But that night was a defining moment in all of our lives.
Tommy Storns is now sharing his story with News 4 Jax. He told us he agrees with Jordan Davis's parents that Dunn's apology in court was not sincere and comes too late.
Dunn was sentenced to life in prison without parole for the murder of 17-year-old Jordan Davis. He was also given 90 more years for shooting into the SUV that Davis, Storns, and 2 others were in. Channel 4's Tarek Miners talked to Jordan's friend about today's sentencing. But we begin with Vic Micolucci.
Well, Mary, it was an incredibly emotional day today in court. Jordan Davis's parents wore their hearts on their sleeves as they spoke to the judge and Michael Dunn. And after they spoke, much of the courtroom was in tears.
And we thank Judge Healy and the jurors for giving us justice for Jordan.
Jordan Davis's parents say they finally got what they wanted after nearly 2 years of advocating on behalf of their son.
Justice does work, but it has to be fought for.
Davis's mother and father thanked everyone who was at their side during the most difficult time of their lives.
I have become very fond of the citizens because you have truly shown us a lot of grace and a lot of mercy, and we're forever thankful for that.
Mr. Dunn's tragedy could have and should have been avoided.
Just before noon, Judge Russell Healy handed down the sentence one Michael Dunn had been expecting: life in prison without parole, plus an additional 90 years. The judge told Dunn, "Your life is effectively over." Before the ruling, Dunn did briefly apologize to Jordan Davis's parents for the first time ever.
I want the Davis family to know that I truly regret what happened. I'm sorry for their loss. Still, I'm mortified they took a life, whether it was justified or not.
A number of Jordan's family and friends gave heartfelt statements about the impact of the shooting. Jordan's mother and father had many people in the courtroom, including some of the jurors, in tears. After the hearing, they told us they are now at peace.
Believe it or not, very early on, it was easy enough for me to forgive him because I believe that he's very, very misguided. I believe that Michael Dunn had not been raised the way we were raised, the way we were raising Jordan.
We love Jordan. We miss Jordan every single day. So it's a victory in a sense, but it's not the total victory. The total victory is when we meet Jordan again in heaven.
And Michael Dunn and his attorneys do have 30 days to appeal the ruling that came down this afternoon. We've reached out to his attorneys, we've reached out to his parents and Michael Dunn himself. However, they have not wanted to comment publicly. Reporting live at the Duval County Courthouse in downtown Jacksonville, I'm Vic Micolucci, Channel 4, the local station.
Nick, how about during the sentencing hearing itself, did Dunn's attorney say anything to the judge?
Well, they said that they really didn't have too many recommendations because, remember, we had a minimum mandatory, so the judge, by law, had to sentence Michael Dunn to at least life in prison and then at least 60 years after that. But the judge went even harsher, sentencing him to life in prison without the possibility of parole and 90 years in prison. They said that Michael Dunn's life should not be defined on just the 5 minutes when he shot and killed Jordan Davis and shot at those 3 other teens in the SUV. They say that he lived a good life. And this one time back on Black Friday in 2012 was a very unfortunate incident.
Vic Micolucci reporting live from downtown. Thank you, Vic.
Also in the courtroom, the young man who frantically tried to drive out of the gas station when shots were fired, ultimately saving his other friends in the SUV.
In his first interview, Tommy Storns spoke with Channel 4's Tarek Minor.
Shortly after the sentencing today, Ron Davis, Jordan Davis's father, called Tommy Storns a hero. Storns was behind the wheel in the car that Jordan Davis was in when Michael Dunn opened fire. He's speaking exclusively to News4 Jax.
Tommy Storns, He tried his best to save Jordan's life.
He's our hero.
He is our hero.
He's our
He
hero.
is our absolute hero.
Ron Davis says if it wasn't for Tommy Storn's quick thinking, 4 teenagers might be dead today instead of just his son Jordan. When the first shots hit Davis, Storns drove away from the gate gas station slowly, trying to get the other teenagers out of harm's way.
I really don't want to speak too much on that night, but I just did the best I could to try and save all of our lives. But that night was a defining moment in all of our lives.
Storn says the memory of Jordan Davis' last moments alive are extremely difficult to talk about. But during the trial, he told the jury how Jordan Davis for breath and bled to death inside his SUV.
When Jordan Davis did not respond to the sound of his name, did you look back where he had been sitting?
Yes.
And where was Jordan Davis when you looked in the back seat?
He was leaning on Leland.
Was Jordan Davis making any sounds?
Yes.
What was that?
He was gasping for air. It just changed me as a person, the way I look at things in life, the way I take certain things in, the way I value people, and the ways that I look at life.
Storn says Michael Dunn's apology today came too little too late, and he says he doesn't believe Dunn is truly remorseful. He adds he doesn't think he did anything heroic. Instead, he acted out of instinct.
As far as them calling me a hero, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call me a hero. I just did the best thing that I could, you know, as a person, as anyone would have done in that situation.
Jordan Davis's family tells News4JAX they still have several events planned here in Jacksonville to honor the legacy of Jordan Davis. I'm Tarek Miner, Channel 4, the local station.
On News4JAX.com, we provided a link to the Jordan Davis Foundation, which has details on some upcoming events. We've also posted Dunn's entire apology in the courtroom. Look for it inside this story, inside Top Stories.